Okay, let's do the state of the garden. So here are my two planter beds. Now you can see that my banana squash here is all wilty because it hasn't been getting watered for the last day or two. There were some storms and stuff. So I took a break, and apparently I took too big of a break. And of course the zucchini is going nuts, but that's just normal. So here are my tomatoes, and what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to cut down some of this PVC pipe here that I have laying around. I'm going to put some holes in the side of it down the way, and then I'm going to build, I think, 2 runs down here with holes on the sides so that the water can just drain out into the beds and hopefully water it relatively evenly. Now you can see I've got these T-posts up. I've got to run some lines across the top. So you've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I'll run a line from here to here, a board or something like that from here to here. And then I'll drop down lines and I'll start growing these tomatoes vertically and see how much I can get out of them. So let's get started. Alright, so here we go. That probably only took me about 10 minutes. So I took the pipe, this is a 3/4 inch Sketchable 40 PVC, and I drilled a hole along where the words are, just straight through. So there's a hole on both sides, this side and this side. So what it's doing is it's just very lightly watering. When I did one pipe, it was like spraying almost. So I stopped that off, split it back here, and then I just kind of pieced the pipe together. I didn't even glue it, right? I'm just dry fitting everything. And because the system's not under pressure, what I did on this end is I came down here and I put in an elbow and I did a standing pipe so that again all the pressure goes backwards. So this should be watering it relatively evenly. Getting all the tomatoes in here. Getting everything watered pretty evenly. So that should actually help quite a bit. Now, another thing I did is this, just out of all my sprinkler days, I tried to stand straight up, right? Well, when I did that, blocked the camera. When I stood it straight up, the hose wouldn't stay in. So if I tilt it down just a little bit, then the hose actually stays in. Now I've got the bucket holding the hose in place, but that's a good start. But because I dry fit it, I'm able to just rotate this thing around this way, however I need to. However I need to arrange the hose coming up and down, or around the pipe and back through, or whatever it takes to get the pipe to stay in place. So, moving on to this guy. So I got this pipe in. Now you can see that it's pretty much well hidden, and it's just sticking out right here. Obviously I got this, but the rest of the pipe is just under the bush. Under the bushes, under the plants, whatever you want to call them. So one thing I did with this guy is there's actually a threaded elbow down here. And I think I'm going to put a sprinkler head on that. Maybe spray out that way and plant out there. If I can get enough pressure. But I got the stand valve, I could just cap that. I could just actually glue this guy up or something like that. Or maybe run drip off of over here and run out here and do some stuff out here. Now one other thing I found is that I just so happen to have a little bit of threaded PVC. So I dry fitted some threaded PVC to a pipe. And I continue with my kind of a 45-degree angle. Here's my hose with some water sticking out of it. Now I come over here, see if I can get a good angle on this. There it is. And I just pop it in. And I'm off to the watering races. So, let's see how this goes. Now later, I'll show you what I have over here if you haven't caught on to it already. Alright, so a little bit of an update. The pipe is actually working really good. I had to kind of level off this part because it seemed like all the water was either going this way or down this other pipe over here on the other side. So I kind of leveled it off, and that makes things a lot better because yeah, the water was just all going this way and only watering one side of the bed. The other thing is this is kind of sloped downwards like this. Obviously not that dramatic, but it's kind of sloped away like this. So if it only waters on this side, then only this side of the bed ever gets watered, and this side never gets any water. So that's why leveling was important, and I actually kind of erred almost this way, so that this one would get more water, like 60-40, whatever, just to make sure that the water would go downhill, because I'll literally have water coming out this side of the bed over here and like running out into the other bed there. And so I wasn't worried about not having enough water on this side. I'm more worried about not having enough water on this side. So that's the pipe update. Over here, what I did with the T-posts is I took some electrical conduit, which is actually really stable at the moment. These were only like $3.50 at Home Depot. And I figured that since this is already rounded, it was going to be easier to do this part than with a 2x4 or something. Also a lot less weight in general. So I took some zip ties. Let's let it focus real quick. There we go. So I took 4 zip ties. I did 2 this way and 2 this way. So it kind of loops all the way around there. You can kind of see that. There we go. So it also means that it's sturdy this way. So I got kind of 4 directions of stability there. And then I'm just kind of counting on the teeth here of this thing to hold this in place. And then the same thing over there at that end. So I'm going to go ahead and run some strings over the top and get some of these tomatoes strung up vertically like you'd see in a hothouse or greenhouse or something. And then I'll put another bar from this post over to the left here to this other post here. I'll get another one set up along here, and then we'll have 2 of them. Alright, so we got that other post up, or that other pole up here. Let's go see. I ran up my first tomato here, and I just did some twine, looped it twice just so it's not as likely to try and spin, and then I actually ran the 2 lines down to different vines off the same tomato. They don't have to be the same tomato, I don't think. When I did this in the past, I did 1 string per branch, and then I'd loop it up and over and then back down, and I'd tie a loop here, and then I had another loop, and then I would put a screw in the other loop, and then I would twist it around, and like there was this whole system to it a couple years ago. But this seems so much simpler. Also, it's way late in the season for me to even be doing this, so I'm just gonna kind of run with it. So you can see that I just kind of wrapped the vine around the string. So if I want to extend this one up, going the wrong way here. There we go. Just kind of put that guy up the vine. Sorry if you missed that. There you go. So you can kind of see how it's winding up. Same thing on this guy. I need to wrap him a couple more times actually. And I'm just trying to get this thing growing a little bit better. You can see that I've already got a whole bunch of tomatoes on it. I'm just trying to get it to grow better. So if this doesn't work or it kills one of the stems or something, then I'm learning. I'm fine with that. So let's keep going. Okay, so we have begun. And I have already found some problems. So I did the first string like this, twisted up and over like I was just talking about, ran it down, wrapped it around 2 separate bushes, came up. It seemed to work all right the first time. The second one was a monster. That was just so tough to get 2 of them both taut, all the way down to the bottom, all the way up, kind of keep it balanced, all that other stuff. So I am back to just doing 1 string. I think what I'm going to do next is try and just do 1 string like this, down. This one's to a tomatillo. But I'm going to just do 1 string, cut them shorter, and then since I'm not expecting to like be over here pulling it and changing like you do in a greenhouse or in a commercial production or something like that, I'm just going to drop some strings down, tie them around branches, and call it good, and just try and get through this season, I guess, and see what happens, what works well. So I've still got a lot of work to go. I'm just barely even touching this whole bed. So it is jumping forward to 2019. I am just using this video to give you an idea of what I had done in the past And then hopefully this year some things are a little bit better. I've already planted, I've already put in a different drip system that I hope is going to work a lot better, because that was just super messy. The new drip system even connects to the sprinklers, so it's off of the timer and everything, and I'm excited to show you that. But I wanted to give you an idea as to what I have done in the past, and then we can go through some of the other things. I'm also planning some tours of my SSL Family Dad chicken coop and a couple other things. But if you'd like to see me do anything, or if you have any suggestions or anything like that, please put them down in the comments. Feel free to subscribe. You know the drill. One last thing, we got a lot of canning stuff out of the garden last year, and we want to do that again. So this year we've actually planted onions and carrots and so forth, all the things, obviously tomatoes, peppers, so on, all for our salsa garden is kind of what we're targeting for this year. Last year we planted tomatillos, but we ended up not really using most of them. Most of them got fed to the chickens. So this year we are kind of targeting that salsa garden. We want to make a lot more salsa than we did last year. It's a really delicious recipe. It's great in guacamole and everything else. So hopefully we'll get some footage later this year of us making salsa and canning other things. We did peaches and, oh man, what else did we do? It was super good. Applesauce. Applesauce was really good too. So, excited for all that. Thanks for joining me.